fun begins.
How's it going?
Hello.
Well,
Greetings, young Jedi.
hello there.
Hey everyone, Hybrid Toy Reviews here, and today we are taking a look at the Star Wars The Black Series Sandtrooper. Finally, all the way from 2013, we are finally getting a redo of one of the earliest figures in the line. The Orange Pauldron Sandtrooper came out in the very first wave back in 2013, featuring X-Wing pilot Luke, Darth Maul, and R2-D2. We've had a new Darth Maul and R2-D2. You could get technical and be like, Snowspeeder pilot Luke came out in 2020. If you want to consider that an upgrade, I'd really like to see a new X-Wing pilot Luke. And here we finally have the Sandtrooper upgraded to modern articulation in the modern standards of the Black Series, and I'm oh so excited about it. It looks really, really awesome in the box, and maybe, just maybe, it could displace some of those older molds and get them off my shelf. I'm trying to get rid of all those 2013 mold Stormtroopers that I possibly can, one repaint at a time. So let's get into it and see what we're getting here. And here is the Sandtrooper in the box. It is your standard Black Series box, but we will take a look. It has your Black Series logo above a big window showing the figure and his many accessories off nicely. Number 12 Sandtrooper in the A New Hope orange line. Warning 4+ Hasbro. This side of the box features a really cool picture of the Sandtrooper looking really menacing. Got a dewback in the background there. This side features a wraparound window, wraparound stripe, and a Black Series logo. Around back, you get another Black Series logo, a zoom in of that side art, a bio, and 5 different languages. Pause and read whichever language best applies to you if you care. Number 12 in line, what's more? Bunch of legal stuff, Disney, Hasbro, bunch of hoopity-doopity down below with a barcode, and a little hanger tab up top. Very standard Hasbro action figure stuff. If you've bought any Hasbro toys, you've seen all of this. So that said, let's go ahead, open them up, see what's in the box, and see if this is a good addition for you. Here's the Sandtrooper out of the packaging. Let's start with the accessories. The wearable one is the Sandtrooper backpack with all the life support equipment and extra rations and stuff. And this backpack pegs into his back. It also features the pouch that rests on the shoulder of the Sandtrooper. It is on a strap and it goes over the top of the shoulder with the backpack. So you see he doesn't have his pouch now. He will in a moment. There's one peg in the back of the Sandtrooper. And this backpack pegs in like so. I'm trying to remember what Stormtroopers we've gotten on this new 2020 Stormtrooper body that have a peg in the back or not. I don't know that we've gotten one yet, so this potentially could be a new torso overlay, but do let me know in the comments below if I'm missing one. There have been quite a number of repaints. As you see, the backpack looks very good on him. Has a nice shoulder pad hanging around the front, or not shoulder pad, but shoulder pouch, and he looks really good. So I like how he stands with that. He's not too back heavy. He balances pretty nicely. Next, he comes with the kind of standard Stormtrooper blaster, short blaster. That's okay. It's in a dark gray, almost black color plastic, but it is definitely gray, and there's not a lick of paint to be seen, but that's alright. They're black guns in universe, so you really wouldn't see a whole lot. And then setting that aside, couldn't tell you the name of this gun. I'm familiar with it. I know it's in Star Wars Battlefront 2015, maybe Battlefront 2, I don't promise that. But it is a gun that was somewhere along the way in the OT. I mean, some Stormtrooper somewhere had it, but it's definitely not one that's like as well linked to the Sandtrooper as some other designs have been. Oh no, as I whack the tripod, that was great. As I bring in this older one, he has this longer, which we'll do a little comparison here. He has this longer rifle. That's kind of like the textbook Sandtrooper gun or the big round cannon one. This one is fun, and it's nice to finally get it in the line, and I'll definitely have him on the shelf using this one just for a little bit of variety. But I do wish he'd also come with that longer, just rifle with the fold-up tripod that we've seen with a lot of other figures and other Sandtroopers before. But that aside, let's just take a look at this guy. So this trooper is based on the 2020 Stormtrooper sculpt, which I love. I'm a big fan of that sculpt. It is a amalgamation of like your Rogue One, Mandalorian Stormtroopers, and that's a good thing. I think of the Mandalorian and Rogue One Stormtrooper armors as like the definitive article. So in Rogue One, they had to basically look back at the original trilogy where every Stormtrooper costume was a little different from each other because of 70s and 80s costume making, procedure, and said, hey, in universe, this would be mass-produced armor. There would be no difference between each set. And so they kind of had to blend all the variations into one definitive unit. So when I look back, there is some charm watching the OT, of every helmet having crooked, forehead, eyebrows and whatever. But in reality, they would all look the same. So I consider this like the definitive Sandtrooper, because if George were still in charge, we'd have seen another special edition by this point, fixing those brows or whatever. Just, it. So looking at this guy, it is really nice seeing just that kind of like standardized Stormtrooper helmet. Looks oh so nice. That orange pauldron looks quite excellent. We'll do some comparisons here in a few minutes, but the pauldron is actually a new sculpt, which is really nice. And looking down, the way they've done the weathering on this guy, it's subtle. So way back in 2013, the line's new, they're trying to impress you. He got a full body wash. It was expensive. It looked good, but some of them were too dirty even. Because I'm going to be honest, like sand, it'll dirty armor, but like, I don't know. I wasn't complete. Some of those guys were almost just full blown, brown by the time they were done. And I definitely think that they could get a little heavy on that wash. So what they've done here is they have cast this trooper in a off-white touch of tan plastic. So it's not even white. And so that gives him a little bit of a dingy vibe in general when you put him next to a clean white Stormtrooper. And then they've given him some subtle patches of weathering on the front here. And around the high points of the armor on the leg, the chest, he has a nice little forehead splotch. That was interesting. I don't know if it was definitely intentional there or if they're all a little bit, your results will vary, but mine has a nice forehead splotch, and that's A-okay. Of course, unfortunately, modern Hasbro, they don't really do that too much on the back. I think on something like this, you should, at least on the back of the limbs if you're going to have a backpack on it. But, yeah, I definitely wish it was a little bit heavier, but at least applied to the back, and it could have been a little heavier on the front, but I do think it looks nice. It's subtle, it's not over the top, it's not like ridiculous looking, and I'm okay with it. Just to do some comparisons with some other variations, I cannot find my 2013 Orange Pauldron Sandtroopers. I just cannot. But here is the white pauldron one. This guy would have had the similar wash that the 2013 one would have had, just a different color pauldron, just to give you an idea of how different it is. And as you see, this old sculpt is terrible. Got to hunch him way forward with that big heavy backpack. Here is the Jedha Patrol Trooper, just to show you another modern Stormtrooper with a orange pauldron. And as you see, you compare him to that white one there. That's like pretty night and day. And I generally like this figure, the Remnant Stormtrooper from The Mandalorian. But just to give you a similar idea of this new Stormtrooper body, having a lot of weathering and scuffing on it, I think they probably could have gone a little heavier. But, this guy definitely, he's pretty rough. I like it. I do like this figure. I'm not saying it in any bad way. I'm just saying this guy has, like, really, really seen some stuff. And just knowing that they could do something like that, I kind of wish maybe they'd done a second tone of dirt, like two different tones, just to really give it some depth. But if you're someone that truly, truly needs that to be the happiest collector of all, you're probably not going to be super happy with Hasbro products in general. And if you need it to be dirtier than that, go grab some 50-cent Walmart craft paints and make some washes up and, dirty it up to your heart's content. That's just kind of the reality of modern toys. They can only go so far with the budget. But I will say, for what your typical Black Series figure budget provides, I am extremely satisfied with what we get here. He just looks really, really nice. So, to run through some articulation, this is your 2020 Stormtrooper. A lot of things should be very familiar to you, but once again, I will go through the routine. So, he has the double ball jointed neck, allowing him to look that far up, that far down, side to side, and you get some neck pivot in there. His arms can come up to a T-pose. The shoulder pads get out of the way. The shoulder pads are on that ring around the peg in the arm, so that deep butterfly joint doesn't affect them. They travel with the arm, or they can if you bring them with the arm on a 360 rotation. It's really, really nice shoulder articulation. Just really good stuff going on here. No bicep swivel, but he does have single jointed elbows that go past 90 a nice bit, and then swivel at the elbow. 360 at the wrist, with the left one hinging in and out, and the right one hinging up and down. That's something that's starting to feel just a little bit dated in this modern world of ball-jointed wrists, so maybe we might see something different in the future here. Could be cool. He features your mid-torso ball joint that is under the armor overlay. You can crunch that far forward, that far back, which is nice. And of course you get some side to side and twist. His legs can spread that far, and those pouches on the side of the newly sculpted belt, I don't know that I mentioned that. He does have a newly sculpted belt because of these black pouches on each side. That's really cool. He can spread his legs that far, go that far forward, a little bit back. There is a hidden upper thigh rotation. If you're going to do a thigh rotation on a figure, I think that's the way to do it. You know, it's there, but you can't see it at all. If it starts breaking up the sculpt, you know, you kind of win some, you lose some. And then you have your single jointed knees that go a little past 90, swivel at the knee, and then the feet can point that far down, a little bit forward, and there's a forward-facing pin for rocker, allowing you to get him in some decently wide stances with both feet flat on the ground. Let me go ahead and get this guy stood back up, and let's go ahead and do some comparisons. So here's the New Hope Sandtrooper next to all of our other recent A New Hope figures. I gotta say, it is really nice seeing Hasbro go back and give some of these figures refreshes. Some of these figures are particularly old or came out during the dark ages of the line, so it's really nice seeing a lot of work go into some core characters. While I'm not the biggest original trilogy fan, I do respect it, and I think it has a great, significance, in movie history, and it is just the origin of the film franchise I love. These movies walked so that the Clone Wars could run, and I'm here for it. So it looks really good. I like him next to these other guys. I'm really excited for a refreshed Ben Kenobi. I think there was a rumor of that at one point, and I'm just super amped. One more comparison, because the cloner brain rot can never, but here is a 501st Clone Trooper, just for another 6-inch average height figure. As you see, he's about the same height as the Sandtrooper. Why am I comparing him? To announce that this 501st Clone Trooper, the Tactical Ops Trooper on the Revenge of the Sith retro card, I'm giving it away at 2,500 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. And if you have a friend that you haven't told yet about me, tell them. Let's up those numbers. 2,500. We're less than 100 away. Let's do it. So at the end of the day, what do I think of the new Sandtrooper? I think this guy is excellent. This is a great way to bring a classic design onto the new Clone or Stormtrooper Sculpt. Do you still call it the new Stormtrooper Sculpt? It is like 5 years old now. But I digress. It is a really, really fun figure and one that I'm super happy to add to the collection. I hope here soon we start seeing some of the other Pauldron variants. I would gladly rebuy them all. I think this guy easily is going to permanently remove the old one from my collection, at least from the shelf. They can go in the figure bin for now. But yeah, just a great upgrade, a great refresh, and one that honestly I've been waiting for a little bit. The one thing that Hasbro hasn't done yet, until now, with the new 2020 Stormtrooper body, is changing out the belt, because there's a lot of variations you can get there. They've been doing a lot of just throw some paint on it and, give you other designs from The Mandalorian and modern shows, and that's A-okay, and I'm happy to have them. But, you start changing out the belt, I know some people demand that holster on the back, for your OT designs, and absolutely, I think you probably should get a new belt with a holster on the back for the E11. Like, that's something that Hasbro should do somewhere along the way. We have the 50th anniversary of A New Hope coming up, and I think what better a year. Now they've established that they are open to changing the belt out on this guy, so another door full of infinite potential has been opened, and hopefully it is explored thoroughly. Thank you everyone for watching. It means a lot that you did. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, tell a friend, subscribe again. We'll get that Clone Trooper given away at 2,500 subs. Super amped to do that. And yeah, we're just having a great time here at Hybrid Toy Reviews, so I'm going to go work on something else now. There's always a new video coming, and I will see you next time. Until then, may the Force be with each and every single one of you, and have a great day.